A very basic human need that everybody has is to belong, whether it's to a small group like a family or a church, or to a larger group like an ethnic group or a nation. A lot of psychological research has shown that feeling like you belong is almost as important as eating or sleeping. That's how basic a need it is. As the nation's largest Latino civil rights organization, we knew that the pandemic was really devastating our communities. We had also done a survey in August of 2020 that showed us that 50% of all our respondents said that during the time of the pandemic, they had felt like an outsider in the US. Among people living in mixed status families, that statistic was 75%. In order to hear how Latino communities are doing around the country, we decided to do focus groups in 5 different places: Miami, Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and San Benito, Texas, which is right on the border. The question about social inclusion and exclusion varies a lot by geography, and that's why we wanted to talk to people in different parts of the country.
The needs that we saw for our communities were great from the start. We have about 5,000 young people, so to speak, in our universe, and we asked everyone to be called. Our communities, they were working. All of a sudden, this stops. And so when we were calling, one of our staff recalls, she called first time, because they called the second time, we're good. Called the third time, the father broke down. And it was like, I do need help. And so there are layers of desperation that we saw of our families having to endure.
One of the most difficult things from the pandemic with my family was, of course, the money. Because we need the food, we need to pay bills, we need to, maintain all things in our houses.
Algunas veces sí nos excluyen. ¿Por qué? Porque vas a limpiar un toile, o porque tú vienes aquí de inmigrante, o porque vete de aquí porque no eres de aquí. Entonces, creo que falta que nos dicen que es un país de oportunidades, sí están, pero dicen también que es un país de respeto y no tenemos todos los derechos al igual que las demás personas.
Our service area is Florida City, Homestead area, predominantly Latino, Hispanic community members of low to moderate income. Children have been affected by it in many different ways, feelings of isolation, not being able to socialize. And that's challenging for our community because we're much of a community of touch, right? A hug, a side hug, a big hug, a kiss. How can I demonstrate and show you affection without touching?
I definitely felt more isolated during the pandemic. It didn't really feel natural staying at home and not going to see people that I would see almost every day. But at the same time, I felt like I had to try my best to keep myself safe, keep my family safe.
I live around people that they don't know how to use a computer and they don't know how to read and write, and some of them, they don't even have internet. So it was hard for those parents, for those kids to even go to school,
There's definitely a lot of people in the community that they live in fear and they need so much help, but they're more scared of somebody telling them that they don't belong here. They're more scared of that than struggling without technology, without knowing how to navigate through what's going on.
How do we strengthen them? How do we create spaces for them to process and to heal? Because that's also another piece, like it's gonna take some time for us to heal. We can't forget what's going on here. While we see progress in the vaccine, our communities, brown and black, they're not seeing that progress like that. They're still struggling, and they will be struggling for some time.
The consequences for exclusion for our Latino community members, they're a fact. However, with listening to our community, empathizing with our community, we were able to alter that. we were able to transform them and give our community members the voice that they felt they couldn't be heard, the actions to be able to show them that they matter, and knowing where to go if they choose and decided to seek services.